the real quest in this movie is humanizing the Chris off screen and capturing what it's like to have to code switch between being with the people who know you best, who you don't have to perform for, but then having to perform for 98% of the rest of the world.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Paul, my friend, I appreciate you taking the time, man. You are in this, as you always are, just freaking phenomenal, man. So I always appreciate getting to chat with you.
Thank you, man. Good to see you.
So like so many people I think are going to do after they see this movie, when I finished watching it, I grabbed my phone and I went on YouTube and just try to find as much old footage of Michael on Pressure Luck as I could. And it was pretty fascinating to watch. I'm sort of curious what your relationship with that footage was. And did you notice anything about Michael in that footage that maybe you were able to use in your performance?
Yeah, I think I mean the lack of self-awareness is a big thing for me. Or I mean that's what maybe I'm sussing that out and it's not accurate, but I like when I see people who are so in their element that it makes somebody else feel uncomfortable because they're so in their element. Um, a good example of that would be when you watch a documentary, you see the best acting is in documentaries because they're just being real. I tell young actors and stuff when they ask for advice, I go, don't watch, I love Denzel and I love Jessica Chastain, but they're doing them. You're not them. So the best thing you can do is watch documentaries, see how people actually act and embody that. And for Michael Larson, I did have the Game Show Network documentary and little news pieces, and what I got from it was that I think he had a very high opinion of himself. I think he was very comfortable in his own skin. And that can almost make for a very dangerous, deceptive person as well.
Could you tell in that footage? Could you see the wheels turning? Could you see him sort of deciphering the 5 patterns?
I could see it in the eyes a little bit for sure, having the hindsight knowledge of being able to go and look at it. But to be honest, he did a tremendous job performance-wise. He doesn't really betray a whole lot of that deception going on. I think a lot of it was pretty wildly confident, and he seems like he's really just gaming the system like he's an expert. I don't see a lot there. I actually had to play into that more. Samir, our terrific director, Samir went in and gave me performance notes and said, I want to see a little bit more dread here. I want to see a little bit of a second guess. I want to see you distracted. And those little things peppered in, I think made for a more human performance. So it wasn't such you don't want him pitching a no-hitter. You lose the drama.
That's interesting. But you touched on something that I didn't even think about. In a way, he's putting on a performance because he can't let it be known that he's doing this thing. So he himself was kind of an actor.
Yeah, and I think that makes for a fun repeat viewing too, of just trying to pick apart those decisions. I think he was a very good actor. Acting. Juliette Lewis once said, I think in that From Dusk Till Dawn documentary or whatever. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen the doc. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. I didn't even know there was a documentary.
I think it's called like Electric Boogaloo or something. I forget what it's called, but it was on the DVD of From Dusk Till Dawn. She says something in an offhanded interview where she's like, acting's just lying. I'm just a liar. I'm a good liar or whatever. And I think, that's kind of not fully true, but certainly somewhat true. And for Michael Larson, what a brilliant liar. I mean, there are certain political people that I will remain nameless that they're so overconfident and they say it with such a straight face that I think a lot of people end up believing them after a while.
I'm old enough. I think you'll appreciate this. The reason I did not see that documentary on the From Dusk Till Dawn DVD is because I had it on VHS. I had my old dusty VHS copy from '96, I think it was.
Amazing. I started to buy VHS tapes again just for inspiration. I went on eBay and I bought to put up in my office. I have a little, like a book shelf looking thing, and it's got Tender Mercies, Thelma and Louise, Good Will Hunting. I purposely bought VHSs that the film won best screenplay, and anytime I'm inspired when I'm writing, I'm like, look back at those movies. What is so great about those movies that they won the award? And yeah, that's fun.
Next time you're in town, I've got a spot where I go and I also buy VHS. I think on my shelf right now, I found in still in plastic. I've got ET, um,
Nice.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Goonies. I got the pearl, the
Oh,
old pearl
that's
case.
fun.
Um, but yeah, remind me next time you're in town, and we'll go over to that spot. I know we lost Michael a while back. A question I love asking whenever someone is portraying a real person: if you could sit in a movie theater with him and watch this movie, and when it's over, lean over and go, "All right, what'd you think about how I did this? What is the aspect of your performance you'd love to get his thoughts on?"
Oh, I guess I don't know. I guess it would be just the emotionality. Like,
Mhm.
is that where your head and your heart were in that place and time? Were you so much thinking about your family, or did we really kind of juice that up to make you more likable? Were you totally just in the zone of money, 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 money? Like, because we can say one thing, there are these actors, they can win an award and they can thank their wife, but they're cheating on her, or
Mhm.
like sometimes you say something and it's to kind of present something that makes you look better. So I wonder if Michael was really just a gambling addict and a low rent thief, or if he was doing this for some greater good. I'm sure the lines are blurred in that reality.
It's like that. Do you remember the last episode of Breaking Bad when Skyler tells Walter, like, if you say one more time you did this for the family, and he goes, no, he goes, I did it because I liked it.
Yeah, brilliant,
Yeah,
brilliant. And
that's
I think Michael Larson needed to own up to that. He really needed to be able to point out that he had, there were certain moments. At one point, he lost $50,000. He was robbed of half his winnings from the show. That should have been like a wake up call, warning type moment where you could have a fateful pivot, but he never pivoted. He stayed on the path of, you know, uh, theft and idiocy, unfortunately.
you and I were talking about this a little bit last night, but I'd love to sort of have a more broad conversation because there was a lot of debate in the moment and then in the decades to come as to whether or not he cheated. Did he figure it out and did he break the system or did he cheat?
I, I can't really. I don't think it's cheating. I really think it's just like Moneyball. They didn't cheat in Moneyball. They just found a new way to make this thing work. Um, so I think it's more Moneyball than it is an outright deceptive cheating thing. Where it became a cheat is later in life when he started doing outright Ponzi schemes, kind of screwing over investors. It's one thing to screw over a corporation like, oh, it's a bank or it's, CBS. I took some money from CBS. Oh, well. I don't really feel bad about that. It feels like Robin Hood a little bit. It connotes some bit of sneaky heroism. But in this case, he really did get to a point where he wasn't gaming the system. He was screwing over people. And
Mhm.
you know, uh, that's deplorable. I think he went from someone who could be the fun uncle and the crazy, quirky dad or business owner to just being a outright crook. And that's where the American dream gets interesting. Can I do this and still have fun, or am I going to let it destroy me somehow?
It sounds weird to say, but I almost would love to see like a sequel 20 years later to see you play
No,
the guy. I've got two
interesting.
minutes left, and so really quick, just because I'm talking to you from Chicago, I'd love to, if you don't mind, talk about the. I know we've discussed it before, Chris Farley, and
Chris
I'd love to know
Farley, of
how that
course.
how that movie's coming along, and are there aspects of him in your research that you're finding most fascinating that maybe are surprising you?
I'll say this just as an update. We're waiting on the green light from Warner Brothers. New Line Cinema's already like, heck yeah. We have an amazing screenplay. The script only got better and better. Every time we gave a round of notes, the script came back and it was just like better than we even imagined. So as far as I'm concerned, that thing's ready to go. We're just waiting on Warner Brothers. But I haven't started my prep for Farley yet because I know how psychotically intense that's going to be and that it's going to affect my family and my friends
Mhm.
and my time. So I'm purposely holding off until 2, 3 months before shooting for sure with a start date. And then I'll go full bore. I'll go nuts.
I don't know how much you're able to tell me. Are you going to be channeling like Matt Foley or Tommy or Todd O'Connor? Like, are you going to be able to knock out any of his roles, or are you more
Those,
focused
those
on?
Yeah, no, you'll see glimpses of all that stuff. It's more touched upon and sprinkled than belabored, because who wants to see a biopic where it's like, and then Lincoln gave the Declaration of Independence, or not the Declaration, the Gettysburg Address.
Gettysburg. I got
Yeah,
you.
like you don't want to be too on the nose, but the real quest in this movie is humanizing the Chris off screen and capturing what it's like to have to code switch between being with the people who know you best, who you don't have to perform for, but then having to perform for 98% of the rest of the world. And that's a curse into itself.
For sure. Well, obviously, not in a morbid sense, but he passed right there in the Hancock, that building
You
right
know
there.
what?
So hopefully we can bring
I
you here to town.
I have been very prayerful over the Farley story and been given a great vision, and I release all the worry about him dying as ugly as he did. That guy is in a bunk bed in heaven with a blue sky. He is doing just fine.
Very much so. Paul, I
So,
always love talking with you, man. I've got 10,000 more questions I wish I had time to get to, but I hope you know how much I appreciate you and your work and your friendship, man. And I appreciate you. The fact that I can just message you and you message me right back means a lot more to me than you know. So it is always an
dude,
honor, man.
hard work recognizes hard work, buddy. Me and a lot of people love your stuff, and I love seeing the inspired questions you give to people who've been interviewed a billion times, and it takes them off guard and pauses them in their tracks. And I think it's a testament to what you do. So always a pleasure.
All right, man. Well, love to you and your family, and be safe, and I'll see you soon, okay?
Thanks, man. See you
Bye,
soon.
buddy. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.